Everything Yet Nothing, where Country Hillbilly meets real topics with a fresh perspective. Join T-Roy Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central.
Hello, welcome to T-Roy's Everything Yet Nothing. Today we have some beautiful guests with me today, and it is Calvin, Tiffany, and Abby. And Abby's not here because she is taking her beauty rest right now. So I am going to introduce Calvin and Tiffany. Hi, guys. Oh, I can't hear you now. Of course. Yeah. There we
go.
I was like, what's going on now?
Can you hear us now? Oh.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're still frozen, but we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Okay. Today on T-Roy's Everything Yet Nothing, we have Calvin and Tiffany. Calvin has been in transition for how many years now?
About 3.
3 years.
I've been in social. I guess I've been in transition total of 3 years, and then I've been on testosterone for about 2 years.
Nice. When did you? How old were you whenever you realized that you wanted to become who you are?
So I came out to my family and friends as a lesbian really early on. When I was probably about 13 or 14, I knew then that there wasn't something, I guess, quote unquote, normal about me. And then I had a longtime girlfriend in high school, and then we later got married after high school, which that didn't quite work out because now I have my beautiful wife Tiffany, and so I was about 20 when, and right after my divorce, and I was I caught myself finding guys that caught my eye, and I was like, what's going on here? Did I, was it a quote unquote phase like my mom said it was? What's going on here? And so I had to stop and really search within myself, what was, why they were catching my eye. And the more that I really sat with it, because at first when it started happening, I pushed it away, and I was like, nope, not even going to deal with that. And then once I allowed myself to really sit with it and see what was really going on, I was I'm jealous of, not jealous, but envious of them. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense now. And I think that's when the light bulb finally clicked on. So I was probably about 20, I would say 21.
Yeah, you came out to me when you were in between your 20th and 21st birthday, because you started dating when you were 20.
Yeah. So that, about then.
Yeah. And how long have you been knowing each other?
We met when we were 20, and we turned 25 in the summer. So about 5 years.
About 5 years, yeah.
Awesome. That is so cool. So has it been a hard transition? being out and being proud, and has that been kind of hard for you to handle and go through?
Me or Tiffany or both of us?
Both Evians. You first.
So for me, yes and no. Like, yes and no. It wasn't hard, and it isn't hard, like, for people that, like, I meet at work or people, like, friends that we've made. It's not been hard, but my family has been a hard, like, really hard, process. And Tiffany's family, too, it was hard. And we still face a lot of struggles in that aspect. So that, I would say, for me, that's what's the hardest, is like dealing with our families and dealing with my family the most. Tiffany's family, like, her parents really didn't understand it and struggled with it a lot at the beginning, but they also weren't a huge fan of me in general. And so we went through a period of about 18 months where we didn't speak to Tiffany's family.
Yeah. We had a falling out. Calvin and I, when we first started dating, both were very young, both very immature. So we'd wake up and we'd get back together multiple times. And it's very hard for me. So my parents, being protective, were like, didn't want me to get hurt. And then on top of that, didn't understand a lot in the LGBT community. Didn't really understand even my part in it, because I still don't really fall into a certain category of it. So they don't I just love who I love, and that's who I love, and that's what it is. So, and they grew up, not around that very much. So,
yeah.
What's been the hardest part for you, I guess?
For me, with him transitioning, it wasn't hard at all. He told me, he's like, hey, I think I'm transgender. And I was like, okay, cool. What do you want to do for dinner? What do you want me to call you? Like, do you have a name preference? Like, it didn't change anything for me. I think the hardest part about it for me is, as his family has learned to like adjust to like he, him, and like Calvin and all that stuff, when they would purposely not call him he, him, and would like use his old pronouns or his dead name,
right?
Not wanting to explode. That's what's been the hardest thing for me.
Especially when everybody you've talked to them, you've opened up to them, and you've explained to them, hey, this is why. It's nothing against anybody else. It's just, it's the way it's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think my mom has taken it the hardest. It's been really hard. Like I said, I've been in transition for about 3 years, and for probably, was it the first year, I would say, I didn't tell them. It wasn't until I started testosterone that I didn't even tell them.
Until you said testosterone and started to see changes.
Yeah, because I eventually came to a point where I was like, I'm going to have to tell them. Like, I'm
going a full beard at this point.
Yeah, I can't hide it anymore. Like, I'm going to have to tell them. And because I was growing stubble, and like my voice had started to change, and I knew that they knew something was going on, but they didn't ask me about it. Like, they didn't come forth and say anything. So I was like, I'm going to have to approach this, and I don't want to, because I knew it was going to be really hard, and my parents didn't take it well. When I came out in high school as a lesbian, it was like
end of the world, throwing Bibles.
It was really hard. Probably one of the most challenging times of my life was when I came out to them as a lesbian in high school. So I was like, all of that had finally started to settle down, and then I'm like, oh, and now I'm gonna bring this to them, and it's gonna start this whole thing over, and my life has just gotten to a sense of normalcy, like, Right. So I was really scared to have that conversation, but I mean, I did, and
it's still a work in progress.
Yeah.
It is, but sometimes whenever certain individuals are not around this kind of environment, LGBTQ, so on and so forth, it's really hard for them to change what they have went through. Like, whenever I was growing up, it was totally different because it was like, it was not there. And if it was, it was hush hush because you did not hear nothing about it. It was not talked about. It was not like on the forefront. And, nowadays is totally different. Like it's almost 100, turned around kind of thing completely.
Yeah. And I think with both of us, it's never been like, we understand if you don't understand. If it's confusing to you, we understand that. We don't expect you to have to understand it. We just want you to be respectful of it.
Yeah.
With both of us being in the LGBTQ plus community. So I think that's been the thing with both of our families. It's like, hey, if you don't understand it, that's okay, but at least be respectful of us and respectful of what we do.
Well, yeah, and they need to understand that we don't come out to anybody just to hurt somebody. That's like a big step for anybody to have to do in their heart.
Well, and
be someone where you've been condemned all your life and you've heard nothing but condemnation. It's hard to open that door and to let it open completely. Like you have, Calvin, and I'm so proud of you, man, because I've known you since we tall, wee little baby.
Forever, yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome to watch you grow throughout these years. And I want to think that I had a little bit of something to do with that,
Yeah.
Because around these parts where we're from and was born and raised and all that, we weren't there kind of thing whenever you were growing up. And I was like, oh my God, I hope I do something to help you, make it easier on you. And I think everybody that are LGBTQ so forth is, should be able to do that with not just a child, but with anybody. And so hopefully we can do that with this.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's also one of the things that's been, since we had my daughter, my parents and I have mended our relationship and they're heavily involved now. And I think it's been nice to see them kind of be more understanding of the situation and understand more about it.
Yeah.
They don't struggle with his pronouns anymore or the name. It's all just.
It's just normal.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is important for people to know is I feel like the LGBTQ plus community gets a stigma about us. That we're nasty people or there's something wrong with us
it's a choice or a lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Or we have some hidden agenda.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's really important that people see that we're just normal people. We have wives and we have husbands and we have children and we have jobs and kids and just that's just we live our lives just like any straight couple would do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we're just trying to be happy and we're just trying to be true to ourselves. And I think that's what's important.
Yeah, and that is exactly what's important. I want to give a shout out to my dang it, tongue tie. WLFE radio families. Hi, mwah. Thank you and welcome to my audience. Throughout this whole ordeal, I do have audience members that are welcome to ask questions and say hi. Genevieve says hi. And my brother from another mother, Dominique, says what up. But yes, throughout this whole thing, if they have a question or whatever, but I tell everybody that if I ask you a question and you don't feel comfortable in answering that question, please don't feel pressured in answering that question because so is not to make you all feel like shit or anything like that. It's just to get the truth out and maybe, put some stuff out there that needs to be out there.
Sounds good.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, we've met, let's say, 4 years ago. 4 years ago?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Jens got married when?
So we got married in 2018, fall of 2018, but started dating February of 2017.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we just celebrated in October our second.
Yeah, our
wedding.
second year wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's cute. I like him. I'm gonna keep him another year.
Yeah, so what was your thoughts whenever your significant other came up to you and told you that it was time for him to be who he is?
I knew. We'll start with that. I knew. I think I knew before he fully knew.
Yeah, because she had asked me a question. Like, there was a couple of different times when we were like first started dating that she was like, so she'd asked me, so do you think you're transgender? Like, and she's like, because if you are, I'm totally okay with that. Like, that doesn't bother me one bit. But like, she's like, I want you to know that if that's who you feel like you are, I'm a safe like place. Like, that's okay. And so
he came out to me about being transgender about 10 months into the relationship.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And like I said, it wasn't a thing for me. Like, I love who I love for who they are. What's in their pants, what they identify as, it doesn't matter to me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he's just like, hey, I'm transgender. I was like, okay, cool. What can I do to support you? What do you need from me?
Yeah.
And he came out to me in November. And for Christmas that year, I got him basically everything he needed to feel like who he was. So we got a binder. We got all men's like body wash and like men's products and beard stuff and everything that he'd need to help him feel who he was. And that's what I did for him for Christmas. So I think when he told me, it was just about supporting him in whatever way I could.
Yeah.
And wherever that journey was going to take him.
She's the true MVP. She has always supported me in like my journey and my transition. Like I like her. She's a good one. She's just always been that person though. Like, that's just who she is, and like, I'm grateful for it because I can say without a doubt that if I didn't have her in my life, that I never would have came out. Like, I never would have had the courage to, take on this journey because, I don't know. I mean, I always just knew that if everyone else rejected me, that I would always have her.
Yeah.
So, and that is what gave me the courage to, come out and be who I am.
And I'm proud that you are who you are, baby, because you are beautiful, both of you. Like, I don't know, y'all give that vibe. Your energy is just outrageous, and you're beautiful people. And I am so proud to say that y'all are my family and my friends, and I love you. And I hope that there's others out there that are watching this thinking, oh my God, really? I'm not alone? Or,
yeah.
Oh, look at them. They have a family too, and they're going through this transition as well. And, I think that's just really awesome. I want to give a shout out to Genevieve from the Cryptid Parlors and Dominique from Real Talk with Dom, WLFEDB Radio Network.
Nice.
And Genevieve is from Creepy Parlor. Yeah, I got tongue-tied again earlier.
That's what happens to me all the time.
So when did Jens decide to become a family? Was that a thing to, oh my God, you want to have a kid or what's up? Oh, and Heather.
She's my favorite. She's one of my favorite humans.
Love the Gibbons. Sweet.
So Heather, fun story, was our doula during our pregnancy. So she assisted us through our entire pregnancy and our birth, which was done through the Doula Foundation in Springfield, Missouri. And it is a wonderful organization if you're looking for pregnancy, if you're pregnant and looking for support during your pregnancy. They do a whole bunch of wonderful things. We wouldn't have made it through our pregnancy without her.
True.
Yeah.
Because it was in a really rough time, and
We didn't really have any family support at the time.
Yeah, so Heather came in and like was our support, and it was like, because I think we were both like part of when we started our, we found out we were pregnant, and I think one of the first struggles we had to have, like that we went through, with like the whole pregnancy is like we both felt very defeated because like we weren't talking to her family, and my family was like still struggling with me being transgender, and then they're like, oh, well, now you're going to bring a kid into the mix.
Like, at the time, they were still like, are you guys excited to be mommies?
Yeah. And we were like, no, that's not how this is going to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
it was mommy in it. So we were looking for family support and someone who just genuinely loved us. And we got connected with the Doula Foundation, and then in turn got connected with Heather, who has stayed after the pregnancy and is now a close family friend. So that's a side note about who that is. We love her.
Yeah.
She's our people.
Awesome. Nice to have you.
So
well.
I think with pregnancy and with starting a family, we always knew we wanted a kid.
Yeah,
more than
for
one.
sure. Well, so I knew that I wanted kids like at a really young age. Like I always was like, part of my thing was I knew eventually I was going to have to choose between being who I was or having a good, strong, healthy relationship with my my family that I was born from, because like Addie and Tiffany are the family that I've made, where my parents and my grandma and everything, they're like the family that I was born into. And so I knew I was going to have to I thought I was going to have to make a choice between having a relationship with them or like having a family and having kids. And I knew that those things were really important to me at a really young age. So I always dreamed, and this sounds cheesy as hell, but I always like would dream about what my baby was going to be like, and like what they were, who they were going to be, and that kind of thing. So like Addie is not just like our baby, like she has been a dream come true for me. And so I'm getting emotional about it, but
no, it's okay.
I think and there was the same situation for me. The people that I call my parents aren't my parents, legally or biologically. I had a really, really toxic relationship with my biological mom. Really, really verbally abusive, really mentally abusive. And she married my stepdad, who came in the picture when I was like 3, raised me until I was 15, and then left my mother for the same reasons, because she wasn't healthy, she was toxic, and then remarried who I consider to be my mom. So now the people I consider family is my ex-stepdad and his new wife. So coming from...
But that just goes to prove that, like, found family is everything.
Yeah, no, completely. Like, who I consider my mom, like, we have matching tattoos, my mother and I, who I consider my mom. So coming from that really toxic environment, I knew I always wanted to have kids, and I wanted to do better for them than what my biological family did for me as a kid. So we kind of always knew we wanted to have kids. After we got married, we're like, oh, let's try for kids. And after about one try, we're like, okay, we're having one. Like,
yeah,
we got pretty much on the first try. So we were really lucky.
Awesome. So it was meant to be.
Yes.
It's because of Fertile Myrtle over here.
Hey.
Well, and it was so weird because most of the time you hear that it takes a long time to conceive.
A long time.
So we got our donation, we ordered our sperm, did the whole at-home insemination, and I was like, all right, we'll try for a few months, sooner or later we'll get pregnant. And, we really debated, because we got pregnant in March, and we really debated on it, because I was like, I don't really want a baby at Christmas time. So we'll try this month, but it'll take a while.
Yeah, we actually almost didn't try.
We almost didn't try, yeah, because we really didn't want a December baby because it's Christmas. We didn't want her birthday to be overshadowed by Christmas. So we tried, and then it was a couple days before I would have missed my period. I was like, feeling a little funny. And took a test and was like, oh, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah. I was at work and she drove across town and like popped up at my work and she's like, I know you're busy. She's like, but we're having a baby. And I was like, what? And she's like, I'm pregnant. We're having a baby. And she showed me the pregnancy test. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I think we knew what happens when you mix sperm and egg and all that stuff, but I think we both just thought it would take longer than it did.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yes, and I walked back into work and everyone's like, why are you, because we weren't going to tell anybody at first because we wanted to make sure that everything went well.
Because I hadn't even missed a period yet. Like, this was very early.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So I went back into work and everyone's like, why are you smiling from ear to ear? And I was like, nothing.
Just having a good day.
Yeah, and then I was friends with a specific person at work, and she's the one that actually convinced us to try that month. Because, like, we were like, we probably won't try this month because maybe, maybe we need to save up some more money. Maybe we need to be more ready for this. And she's like, you're never going to have enough money. You're never going to be ready. She was like, just do it.
Oh, really?
So we did it, and then, we got a positive pregnancy test, and so she pulled me aside and she's like, so, like, why are you so smiling? And I was like, I'm going to be a dad. And she's like, what? And so it was like, I think both of us almost just couldn't believe it when we found out.
Yeah, for sure.
I can imagine, man. I'd be all like, what the hell? Already?
Yeah, but it was the biggest blessing. And that was exactly when we should have got pregnant because our daughter is exactly who I would have pictured as a kid.
Yeah,
she's definitely the baby that I dreamt about forever.
Even though he was convinced it was a boy.
I was convinced. I was convinced for the longest time that it was a boy, and then days before we found out it was a girl, something was like told me, I was like, no, this is definitely a girl. And then we did the early pregnancy result, like the gender reveal results. You can do it at 16 weeks?
Well, the blood test that we did, we can do at 10 weeks, which is sneak peek, but we had the actual ultrasound at 16 weeks.
Yeah. So before we got the results back from the blood test, something just clicked and I was like, no, this is definitely a girl. So, and and she's perfect. Yeah. So
I just want to show the pictures.
So adorable. So adorable. I can't wait to meet her face to face.
Yes.
She's the most kind-spirited little soul
and happiest baby.
Yeah, I've ever met. But man, she's a spitfire when she has an attitude. Like, I'm just like, man, that's your mama coming out.
No, that's the Gibson gene. That's all that one.
Yeah. Corey McLean wants to know what is number one family goal.
What was what?
What? Hashtag family goal.
Oh, thanks.
And thank you, Teddy. Kevin said, the blood of convenient is thicker the water of the womb, meaning that the families that you make are closer than the family you're born into.
Absolutely.
That is true. That's very true.
Yes, I agree.
Because we've have friends that we now call family, and yeah.
For me particularly, most of the people I consider family are family that I've chosen. Mm-hmm. Most of my actual relatives I don't speak to.
Yeah, Ted Van Son says, God doesn't make mistakes. Congrats.
Thank you.
Everyone said hi earlier, and now she's saying very, very true. And Heather Guy says, Addie will be everyone's friend.
Yes, she will.
She's got no stranger danger. She's ready to meet anybody and will let anyone pick her up. So it's good and bad.
As long as me and Tiffany are chill, and there's people around us, she's like, all right, I'll go with them. Mom and Dad thinks that it's fine. So I no shit's given. Yeah. None whatsoever.
We're definitely blessed with her.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you want to have any more children in the future?
Yes. We'll
Yeah,
probably have like 3 total.
3 is the goal.
Calvin wants 6. I said 3.
I was a little ambitious. I was a little ambitious before we had the first one, and now I'm like,
3's good.
yeah, I'm like 3 is perfect. Yeah,
Oh yeah, totally. It's a big step. That is for sure, is to become a parent.
well, you don't realize it sounds like a lot of fun, and it is a lot of fun. But
It can be.
there's nights that by the end of the night, her and I just plop down on the couch and we just look at each other and we're like,
Oh,
where
like,
did this night go?
Yeah.
right?
It's already 10 p.m. and I'm exhausted.
I think one of the things that, we've been lucky with as being LGBTQ plus parents is that we've been able to show like our friends and our families that like you can be a parent in the LGBTQ plus community and it not be like the entire focus of your parenting.
Yeah, I think that's important too, is like people realize that
And we're not going to force our agenda on our children. Like, I think those are one of the things that people like. That's a big stigma. It's like, well, oh, if you're a gay parent, then your kid's going to be gay, or you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we want to spread is that we're raising our kid just like you raise your kid. There's nothing different here.
No.
yeah,
None.
yeah, we just are more aware. Like I think because of the things that we've gone through, like individuals, like just as people and being a part of this community, I think the things that we have gone through has made us super and hyper aware of like just giving Addie all of the love that we can. Like not saying that like other parents don't, but I'm saying that it just makes us super like in tune and aware of like,
Yeah.
we like, and I think both of us have struggled with mental illness. And I know a lot of mine. I carry with me from like a really young age, and I don't ever think that my parents ever purposely like meant to cause me any kind of trauma or pain. But I definitely think that mental illness has just become something that has been talked about in the last few years and that people have really started to pay attention to. And I think when our parents were parents, they weren't thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? So Tiffany and I try to be super aware of like Addie's mental health, even as a young kid, because it's a very real thing.
I mean, even still, like the people I consider my parents, but I'll just call them my parents at this point. I'm pretty aware of it in mental illness, but it took my dad a while to like accept his own, and then Calvin's family still believes it's like a choice. Like you can just choose not to be anxious and choose not to have mental illness. Yeah. So I think
Saturday, like really.
Yeah. So I think it's really important to both of us that like we teach Addie that like it's okay if you're having anxiety. It's okay if you're like obviously right now, she's too young to express these particular feelings, but as she gets older, it's like it's okay if you're feeling anxious. Like let's talk about it and let's work through it.
Exactly. And tell your child that it's okay to come to you and with anything and everything and talk to your child about anything and everything.
Exactly.
Just to let that child know, because I was like born and raised in a time that, it wasn't talked about, nothing. Like
it was like a taboo subject.
Nothing was like talked about until I was like way older, and then I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I think if we start the children out in a positive of, giving the right notes and the bad notes kind of thing to them and opening their eyes to stuff that maybe we should have been opened up to as we were growing up, then the world would be a better place because then we could have more control. Even though a child is a child doesn't mean that child can, do something. Kind of, child just needs to know that, hey, kind of thing. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm just reading the.
Oh, okay.
The sideline.
Corey, McLean we had on November. He says Calvin really was a great help in his own transition.
What's up? I'm really glad. Like, I was so happy when Corey came to me and he was like, "Hey, like, I think I'm going. I'm transitioning." Like, he came to me with questions, and it made me feel good because I was like, I want to use my experience to like help other people, and if they have questions, like, I want them to come to me because I didn't have that. So, like,
You had Google.
I had Google and I had YouTube, and let me tell you, some of the advice that you find on there is not good advice. Yeah, well, in transitioning, it can be dangerous, like, if you're not careful. Like, if you bind for too long, or if you have a binder that doesn't fit you correctly and is, like, too small, and if a lot of people that I have, like, read about and stuff, have taken street hormones, and that's not safe. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I was glad that, like, when Corey came to me and was like, "Hey, I need advice," and I'm like, "I got you, dude. I got you." Like, and I was glad to see, because he asked me, about starting testosterone, and I was actually able to refer him to a really good doctor that specializes in hormone therapy, and like she specializes especially in the transgender community. So I hope she's been going well for him, and because I've had really good experience with her.
Well,
so.
I think after you became like comfortable in your own transition and like educated in your transition, that was one of your goals, was to be able to educate others.
Yeah,
and so I think that's something that made the situation with Corey really special. He could.
Yes. Son, so sorry if this sounds so personal, but does he have a penis? Question. And if not, is he going to have the surgery to have one?
No, I don't have a penis. And I don't plan to have the surgery.
That one.
At least not that one. I plan to have top surgery where I have like my chest, like my breast removed. But I don't plan to do bottom surgery because it's just super invasive. And it's really expensive, and a lot of people have problems and then have to go in and have like corrections made and stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't feel the need for it, I guess. And like, it doesn't bother her, so like, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't bother me, so I guess I just don't really feel the need for it.
Right. It's one of the most asked questions you get.
I don't think it's the most asked question, because I think it's something that people just like,
they don't want to just come out and ask it. Like, they're afraid
right.
It's like,
you ask this question.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm sure everybody thinks it. Because sure. I pass very well. I've always, like, from early on, I've always passed well. And even before I started my transition, I would get mistaken for a man all the time.
When we first started dating, we had gone to Eureka Springs randomly, and a lot of people like, sir. And that was before he even came out as transgender.
Yeah.
And he's just like, this is fine. Like,
yeah. So, but yeah. So
everyone thinks it, but no one really. I think everyone's just too afraid to ask it.
Yeah. What is the most frequently asked question I get? I don't feel like
I don't really feel like you get everything you get asked is pretty common. Like, when did you know, stuff like that. And I think a lot of people ask how I took it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Ted says, "Could be you." Kevin says, "Children of the LGBTQ plus parents get to see all kinds of love. Love is love. The difference is that they get to embrace it all."
That's true.
Heather Guy says, "Unconditional love."
I love her.
I love her so much. She's my favorite.
Elby Ackley, "You can only listen to the internet too long." And Kevin Vaughn said, Never mind.
Okay.
Well, so we got to the penis part.
I feel like you were sweating that a little bit, maybe.
we got to do the awkward question.
Oh, really? I don't know why, because like I said earlier, we're like family, but you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's like,
Sorry.
And
sorry to any family like of mine that's watching this.
You're all about that. It's fine.
Watches it in the past. It's all right.
So if there was a something that you could say to say a family member,
Okay.
when all this became, what would that be?
Like, what would I? Oh, that's a like. What do you? I guess. What do you mean?
What would you tell them?
On a positive, like when you are coming out to somebody, like, is there someone that you would like to be all like, I didn't do it to like da 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 kind of thing, or is there somebody in your family that you would like to share the love and say, hey, Grandma, I love you for your support. You're awesome. You're the greatest grandmother at all.
Yeah, I love my grandma is my home slice.
Shout out to Nelda.
So shout out to my grandma.
Fun fact, Addie's middle name is actually Nelda's middle name. We named Addie after Nelda.
Oh my God, that is awesome. I love it.
Also, fun fact about that, my grandmother, we told her how many times?
So we decided we were gonna name her Adeline. We knew from very early we were gonna name her Adeline.
We love my grandma. She's a hot mess express, but we love her.
So I said, hey, idea, why don't we give Addie your grandma's middle name, which is Kay? And he's like, brilliant, great idea. So we told her about 5 times, hey, Nelda, we're naming Addie after you. She's like, okay, cool, great.
And so
we thought like she hated it.
Yeah, because she never really had a reaction to it. And so we were like, well, she freaking hates that idea.
Yeah,
now
too late.
What are we gonna do now? Like,
so when we had our maternity photos done, we had a name announcement, and she commented on it Facebook and was like, oh my gosh, this is so sweet. You guys are so kind. And she's like, oh, I didn't know you guys were naming her after me. And like, we told you.
Yeah, we were like, what do you mean? She was like, she said it just didn't register.
It didn't click.
Yeah.
But
oh my God, I love her to death. She's always been awesome. Like,
yeah,
growing up, there wasn't very many people that I ever seen to be accepting. But even though I don't think she knew that I was gay, but honey, you could look at me and say,
she probably knew.
You look different. I mean, oh my God.
Nelda was probably the only one in your family that took it with stride and didn't struggle.
Yeah. And she always welcomed me, like, with open arms. Like, hello, why can't everybody else in the world can do that with not only them other people, but with your own children?
Yeah.
My grandma's always been like my saving grace. Like, I struggled with depression and I almost like committed suicide, but my grandma is the person that I was like, they got me through it. Cause I was like, I always have been a grandma's boy, always. Even since like a young kid, and I'm 20, almost 25, and like
grandma's boy.
Yeah, I'm still a grandma's boy. But I was just like, when I was going through that, she saved my life. My grandma saved my life.
I can see that.
Yeah, and when I came out as transgender, she was just like, okay, like, you know. And when I came out to her as a lesbian, she's like, okay. She's like, she said, I already knew. I just didn't feel like we had to talk about it. She was like, nobody wants to talk about my preferences. Like, I don't feel the need to come out about my preferences. So why should you have to be any different?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really easy with her in your transition and all that stuff. It was just, okay, cool.
She was the easiest, and I knew she was going to be easy to tell, but she was also the most terrifying because I felt like I had the most to lose.
Yeah. But we are going to stop there for a second and take a short break commercial, and we will be back in just a second.
Okay.
Okay.
WLFE-DB.com, where you can find vodcast shows, podcasts, and more, like Where's My Sage, Inside the Drag Closet, Across the Pond, Paratalk Radio, Just Cindy, and more. So go check out WLFE-DB.com, where talk radio is a whole lot better. Our shows are your shows, and that there makes for a great talk radio.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area, 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
Ted Van Son Jr. is a seasoned investigator and well-versed in the ways of paranormal investigation. He is now ready to share his ideas and unique approach with all of you. Flashlight, recorder, and comfortable shoes. Hit the ground running as you follow this easy step-by-step guide to a fun and thorough paranormal investigation, perfect for first-time and lightly seasoned investigators. Think outside the paranormal box. Learn all about the technology and techniques used back in the early days of paranormal investigation. You can find these valuable resources online at Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Amazon. Get yours today.
Hi, I'm Jenna Grover. In the world of fashion, we get lost in the cost. Everyone wants that special piece of quality jewelry, but they can't afford it. Not on my watch. I sell handmade quality jewelry for a fraction of the price, and that includes jewelry made of sea glass, natural stone, crystal beads, glass beads, Bigfoot jewelry, and more. If you don't see what you want, email me, because I make custom jewelry too. Check out my website at gbythesea.com. Also, you can email me at jewelry@gbythesea.com. You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Welcome back to Nothing, and we are here with our guests, Calvin and Tina. Tiffany. Why did I say Tina?
I mean, I can be a Tina.
Really? Not you? So, Yins got married. Where did you get married at?
In a creek.
Not in a creek, but kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got married.
It's called Lindenlure.
Yeah, it's out by.
It's closed off now, but it was a public access point. There's like a waterfall and everything else. It's really pretty.
It's out by Rogersville.
Yeah.
Oh. Cool.
We got married with about 6 people because we didn't have a lot of family support at the time. And we're not friends with basically any of them anymore. So that's life.
Fine. Yeah, we got married at 2 p.m. on a Thursday.
Yeah.
we had thought we would have like a big wedding, and then we were finally just like, why not? Let's just do this.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh my God,
it was easy and inexpensive. So.
Yeah, it's just, and we didn't have a lot of family support at the time, so it's like, what's the purpose of planning a big wedding when, we don't have a lot of family support? And it really was just about us and our love. So, like, who else really needs to be there?
Right.
So.
Yeah. Me and Kevin, whenever we got married 14 years ago this year at Magnetic Springs, Arkansas. And thank you very much. And it's been awesome. It's been the best thing I've ever done in my life. I'm proud to be a husband and dad. And I'm proud to have him as my husband and companion. He's awesome. But yeah, when we find it, it's awesome because I see that y'all are like one, and that is what a marriage, I feel, is not only are you 2 people, but you become one because you're around each other all the time. You get to know each other. You know, you get to like feel what other people don't get to feel, and you know, it is you. Yeah, it's beautiful, and yous are beautiful. Like you get the vibe from y'all. It's just awesome.
He's definitely my person.
Yes, he is, and he loves you, girl.
So, even though you're kind of sassy sometimes.
Fine, it's good for you. Someone's got to keep him in line.
Yes, it is more accepting, and I wish you all the best. Stay strong. Remember, you are doing you for you, and know for your child. Be the man you are. Be the family you are. No one else lives the lives you do. You're strong. You've gone this far. You can make it through.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and Kevin says, thank you, babe. Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful.
Gold stars. Gold stars to everybody.
It does. So the baby girl, is she sleeping now? She's sleeping.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone can see it, but we've got a little monitor.
I can show
here.
him photos. I can hold photos up to the camera if people want to see her because I got photos.
Yes.
She'll show photos for days, which
I
me
love
too.
photos. Pictures are like thousands of words.
She's the best little human on the planet. I love her. Fun. I'm gonna find my favorites because those have my favorites.
Because those are your favorites.
Yeah, those are some of them.
Sorry, we're sitting on a hard bench.
This is I don't know if you can see it, but this is her on her birthday.
Oh, look at her. She's beautiful.
I love her.
Precious. So precious. What I read earlier was from Ted.
Oh, thanks, Ted.
Well, Teddy. Bill. What are you doing? Where are you going? Oh, let's see. God, we've talked about so much.
We cover a lot of our bases.
What is in y'all's future? What's your next step in transitioning?
Top surgery.
Yeah, probably top surgery, but the unfortunate thing is my insurance doesn't cover it. So it's something that we will have we'll have to do one of two things. We'll either have to save up the money for me to have it and save up money to cover our expenses while I'm out of work, because I'll have to be out of work for at least 6 weeks. Or I will have to fight it with my insurance, which is a whole long process.
And I think also continuing working on the relationship with your family, understand.
Yeah, and working and setting healthy boundaries with my family, and those that don't quite understand or aren't yet where we feel like they should be by now. That sounds bad, but at 3 years, there shouldn't be people that are still calling him it or stuff like that. Yeah.
Way past that.
Yeah.
So I think that's
and I don't think it should have ever been a thing.
No, it shouldn't have.
No, you have, but some do that just because of something within themselves. So don't take it so much on yourself because it's not you. The ones that throw the hate it comes from inside them.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's been really hard with the people that have been intentionally hateful with his transition. Is for me as his partner, like it's people that he cares about that have like intentionally like misgendered him or called him by his dead name or called him it. And as his partner, it makes me want to fight them, but also he loves them, so I cannot fight them. So it's like,
right?
It's been hard to like support him and like watch him go through that journey and just have to kind of like not stand to the side, but also not be as confrontational as I want to be about it.
Right.
Yeah. And it's hard too once you have a kid also, because like, you know, you've got to like, and you've got to like, you also don't want to completely sever those ties, because like you potentially like, if I don't know how to explain it, like you want your kid to be able to have a relationship with those people if they're healthy for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that's been hard, is because some of the people in his family aren't where they need to be for it to be a healthy relationship for Addie. And we've had to set boundaries of, until they can be that healthy person, they don't get to spend as much time with her as we would like them to.
Yeah.
Right. It's not that you don't want them to be around her. It's just that, you know, sometimes that toxicity go within the children even more than what us adults get.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you know,
and I think, you know, we've had,
no matter who it is, you know.
Right.
And that's, you know, and there's been people in the family that have like, well, someone's got to tell her that you know, that she wasn't yada, yada, yada. It's like, you don't have, it is our decision when and how we tell our children about anything, but especially about their conception and the transition.
Yeah. Peggy Sue Irwin says, Calvin, I've known you for a long time and wonder if you still write music and poems. And we lost them. Where'd they go? They'll pop back
We're
up.
here.
There they are.
Are you there?
Yes.
And yes, he does. He wrote me a song for Christmas.
I did.
Oh, you hear that, Peggy? Yes. My birthday's coming up, so what you gonna write me?
I did write her a song for Christmas. I still write.
Sing to
I still write and stuff. I just don't do it as often as I used to.
Yeah. Heather Guy says,
are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Did I disappear?
Hello?
Hello. I'm here. Am I not there? What happened?
You're like, your audio.
Glitch in the audio.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
A little better, yeah.
A little better, yes.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Here? No?
Kinda.
Can you hear me now? Oh, I heard
What
it.
if we turn this off?
Maybe.
Can we mute this?
Hello?
There he is.
Okay, hold on. I think we're good.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go. I don't know what happened.
We are back with it. Peggy said, oh, yeah, we got that. And you play the guitar. I've always wanted to learn how to play the guitar, but my fingers don't.
He's a talented one. Look at how cute he is.
Oh, I bet he is.
I've played guitar since I was like 12.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Calvin, you can write.
I don't get to play it as much as I used to though, because like, you know, raising a baby and stuff.
And you're a full-time student.
Yeah.
What did you say? What did you say?
I said, oh yeah, by the way, Calvin, you can write our theme song.
Okay.
You should write the theme song.
I should write your theme song?
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure for someone.
It's all good. Let's say. Are you on Wi-Fi or internet?
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Which is weird because we usually don't have problems with our Wi-Fi.
Well,
I don't know what's going on.
We're not normally on podcasts either.
That's fair. So,
Listen, all we can get is Suddenlink because there's nothing else available in our area.
Yeah. Do you know where? Do you know there is finance companies that help with surgeries?
There are some, yeah.
I think both of us would just like to be able to do it without any kind of like debt or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what's That would really be nice for us, because debt stresses me the hell out. I'm gonna be
Same.
honest about it.
Yeah,
I don't even like having to take out a student loan for school, but like I do. You know what I mean?
oh
So
yeah.
so I think it's one of those things that like while I'm anxious to have top surgery done, I want to make sure that I also don't like put my family in unnecessary debt as well. Like, because I feel selfish. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I would feel selfish being like, oh, I'm going to do this surgery that's going to cost me thousands of dollars and put us in debt. But like, and you know what? If that makes any sense at all, I would feel selfish. So
Yeah.
Medicine and
yeah. And you asked earlier, like one of the things that we saw for like our future too is, I'd like to graduate college at some point.
he just started this. He just finished his first semester.
I did.
What's the major?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice. And why is that?
Well, I worked in the jail back in the
Back in the day.
back in the day. I worked at Christian County Jail, and I worked in the kitchen, and like, so I worked closely with a lot of the COs and stuff there, and I kind of saw like the ins and the outs of the correctional system, and I kind of just like fell in love with it, and so I guess that's what initially sparked my interest, and like I want to have a job that I can be proud of, you know.
Totally.
And so that's something that like I guess that would be why I chose that.
Awesome.
I just want to make a difference.
Totally. Yeah. Ted Vane's son says he's very smart and he really cares about his family. Great to hear.
Thank you. Yeah, they're kind of the beast.
Erwin said, I just want to say I love you and am very happy that you are happy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
But yes, definitely sounds like you got a plan, and I love the fact that, like you said, the family comes first now, kind of thing. And when you have a kid, it pretty much goes that way. And not all other people would do it like that, but I think that you really got your heads on right, and you got a future plan, and you can say and you communicate, and I think you got it for the rest of your lives, like really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my family will always come first before all else.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I think because even before the transition, we faced a lot of difficulties, in our relationship. He's had a very serious relationship before me, that he was still healing from when we got together. And we faced that, and we've gone through his transition, and we've gone through, troubles with his family and troubles with my family. And I think it's been able to make us really strong and close-knit, and our communication be really good.
It does.
And because of that, we're able to be in a really healthy place now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead. Sorry, you're going to say something.
No, go ahead.
I think that because our relationship when we first started, like, she is a wonderful person. And I would not have gone in if I had been in her shoes. I definitely would have seen me and been like, nope, I'm out. You're a train wreck. Like, I ain't touching that.
You were in a struggling place at the time.
I was. And I think that's why that shows just how much of a remarkable person she is, because at the time when I met her, I was hanging drywall for my uncle. I was barely making any money at all, just enough money to make a car payment, and that was it. So, like, she came into the relationship and was like, how can I help you? Like, what can I do for you to make this better? And I would have starved to death if it hadn't have been for her. Like,
the week after we started dating, I was helping him with whatever I could.
Yeah. And it
wasn't like, for me, it wasn't like a relationship thing. It was just a kind person who needed help because we had only been dating a week and I wanted to help him in whatever way I could.
Right.
And I think those things, like, because we dealt with so much
Serious
stuff very early on. It's allowed us to become like really strong from the very beginning. And like we had to have that communication, and we had to have like learn how to work together.
Well, and don't get us wrong, like we had rough patches.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, we were still.
I mean, but every couple has.
But I'm saying,
patches.
like, that's what I'm saying is, it's like, don't think that like we didn't have rough spots.
For sure.
But those rough spots, I think, is what makes relationships better.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we gotta have to even us out. You know, I always say you got the good with the bad, and you always got the bad with the good.
Yes.
So, you know, that kind of evens it out. And even with us, we, you know, try really hard in communicating because we have seen so many loved ones that we've grew up with and seen go through like divorces and not good relationships or marriages. And so, you know, that's kind of what we've seen was they wasn't really communicating. Weren't trying to communicate with each other. They weren't taking nothing in. They didn't want to take nothing in. They didn't want to make change. That is just part of it. Like change is the world. That's life.
Yeah.
You know, and so many people just don't want to do that. And it's like, well, that's a brick wall to a lot of people. So
yeah, like if you don't communicate with each other, if you don't have strong communication, it's just if you don't want to either, that's going to be a problem.
And I think our ability to have strong communication is what made your transition just so smooth.
Yeah, I would say that too. Like I think that's a really big key in like the whole transition, and as parents too, like, you know, we have to have good communication because like she works nights, I work days, so one of us is always home with the baby, you know, so we've got to be able to communicate strongly, like with that as well. So.
Yeah, I say that they communicated way good back in the day because they didn't give a rip. You know, so now we've realized, well, you need to give a rip if you have a good life and you want to keep the other one happy. You know? Ted says if we have nothing.
Okay.
So hot.
Oh, I like that.
Really? I have like a whole collection up behind my wall. I'm in process of doing my studio. And so I'm just finding all kinds of LGBTQ, of course, rainbow, or hillbilly, because I'm a hillbilly back in the hillbilly days. I don't know.
Well, if we see anything, we'll have to grab it for you and let you know that, hey, we got you something. Yeah.
Totally. I would throw it up on the wall.
You need to get him a little transgender ode for his wall.
Yeah.
And I'll give him a consensual one.
Yeah. We got you.
We have ideas.
So, Tiffany, you are a domestic engineer?
I work with disabled adults. So
Cool.
I've been doing that for 4 years, and 4 years. I have my associate's degree, but plan to go back, and eventually I'll be a special education, like a special needs teacher.
Awesome.
Which has been my goal since I was really young.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have both.
We both work with disabled adults right now.
Yeah, and like for me, it's always been like just a part of my life. Like my mom did it, my grandma did it. So naturally, it was just something that I took on. Like my best friend growing up, she had Down syndrome, and like didn't bother me none, you know. But unfortunately, like she passed away when I was really young, and so that sparked, and it was due to neglect from her parents, and so that's something that really influenced me to like get into this work and stuff, and that's why I stay in this job. And like, you know, I think that's important to both of us, and that's something too that like being a part of a community that's so heavily discriminated against, helps us relate to like working with those that have disabilities, because they also are so heavily discriminated against. So like we feel their pain, I guess, is a way to.
I've worked with an individual in my past that she identifies as part of this community and felt it was safe to talk to me about it because she knew I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And didn't have a safe place to kind of express that.
Right. Yeah. Well.
Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Trying to get this out. Hold on.
All right.
I think so. Try talking now.
Can you hear me now?
Hold on. I think so. Try talking now. Hold on. I think so. Try talking now. Everything's echoing. Sorry. I'm muting that.
Okay. Are you there?
Are you there?
Are you there? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think we're good. Hopefully.
All right. Well, we have come to just about the end of the show. And I just want to say, well, it was great talking to you guys. Thank you for joining us tonight to share your story. Hopefully, we can open hearts one podcast at a time. We are out of time for tonight. So thank you. Are you there?
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It was really great talking to you. And we're just... Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes. Okay. And Teddy said, thank you for sharing your story. Very strong people.
Okay. We're just really appreciative that you had us on.
Yes.
Huh? Thank you.
Okay. Love yous, guys. Take care. Good luck in your future. See that baby. So...
Love you too. Thank you for having us.
Talk to you later. Have a good night.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind to each other.